It looks like NASCAR has at this point not approved the LGPcoin.io sponsorship for Brandon Brown. Let's jump into it. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. We've got a little special report here to talk about today. Let's jump straight into it. Remember this morning when it was announced that it looked like Brandon Brown was going to have a full season sponsorship with LGBcoin.io for 2022. They were sponsored for the whole season. Well, it looks like as of right now, at this moment, it does not look like that is the case, at least as of now. As was reported about an hour ago by Jim Utter, that LGBcoin.io, NASCAR has not approved LGBcoin.io sponsorship, and a team jumped the gun on the announcement this morning, as a person who works in the industry had told Jim Utter at motorsports.com that this would not be the case at the time. Now, a little bit later, Colin Fern said apparently that they have been approved, but they had to change some number contrast stuff. Keep in mind, Colin Fern works in the team, so I trust what Colin is saying, but Jim Utter is saying it's not approved, and Colin Fern is saying it is approved, but they have to change some things on it for it to be officially approved. Then Bob Pockers came out and basically reiterated what Jim Utter said, and that the sponsorship has not been approved at this time. He did, however, add and said that all sponsorships have to go through a formal process, which has not yet occurred for this sponsorship, and it could take a couple weeks for decisions and for the sponsor to be officially approved. So what's really crazy to me is, for me, when this announcement was officially revealed, when it was announced this morning, first of all, I was a little bit fishy about this announcement because, one, it's basically a cryptocurrency, and crypto can be somewhat not trustable. I know a little bit about crypto, not much, but I know a little about crypto, and some cryptos can be trustworthy, and then you have the Save the Kids crypto, which is also very shady, and this company I've really never heard before, so I really didn't know how to feel. It was cool at first to see that they were at the time going to be sponsoring for the full season, but apparently it's been working for a month, and they apparently have been only up for a month or so, about 2 months. But the fact that we really didn't know anything about the company and only had 1,000 followers on Twitter made it really interesting. And I think that there are potentially a few reasons why NASCAR may not have at least approved. Now, for the record, there is still a possibility that the sponsorship could be approved long term, but NASCAR makes a decision. However, I know that NASCAR has said, I think back last month in November, if I remember correctly, back during the championship week, they said they really did not want to associate with the Let's Go Brandon situation because of the certain repercussions of the driver in the field. I think that's one thing that NASCAR said, if I remember correctly, last month. So maybe that might be a reason right there. But there are a few potential reasons why this sponsor may have not gotten approved. Number one, of course, is a political reason. NASCAR may not want to associate with that. However, I will say that NASCAR has let a lot of other political sponsors and other kind of controversial sponsors in the sport in the past. They've let the Black Lives Matter sponsorship come in for Bubba Wallace. I remember them having that. I didn't have a problem with that. I just think that's interesting. And they've also let a Trump 2020 car come in, and also a Trump 2016 car with Reed Sorensen back, I think, in 2016 when Prima Motorsports was around in the Truck Series in 2016 and 2016 in the Cup Series. I think Reed Sorensen drove a Trump 2016 car. We've also had political campaigns in the past. Gary Biffle in the back in the day, and Xfinity had this 60 car, and Xfinity had basically, I think it was 2004 campaign for CNN, if I remember correctly. So political sponsors are not new. And it's interesting they maybe not approve it because of the political side of things, but I think one of the reasons it may end up getting disapproved because of the unfortunate nature of basically dissing the President of the United States, even though many people don't like the President of the United States, like myself. I'm not the biggest fan of Joe Biden myself. I don't ever go and say LGB because I don't ever go say LGB because I'm not a really big fan of Joe Biden in my personal opinion. I'm not going to get too much of my political opinions. I'm just not overall a big fan of Joe Biden. That being said, though, I think hopefully maybe NASCAR will approve it. That's a big thing there, is hopefully they will approve it. But the other big reason is it could end up maybe being a scam. That might be another reason why it may not be approved, just because it may be a scam. You have a lot of these companies that pop up out of nowhere that kind of end up being just coming out of nowhere, and you really don't know how to trust them or not because you've never heard of these companies. That's a big question a lot of people have about Focus Factor of Eric Jones. They really don't know if that, a lot of people don't know if that company's truthful or not. I mean, NASCAR let them approve that, but crypto companies can be a little bit mischievous and sometimes can be a little bit untrustworthy, but I find it absolutely crazy and interesting that basically they've gone ahead and decided to not let Brandon Brown, at least at this time, have a sponsorship. So overall, my opinions on it, I really do feel bad for Brandon Brown in a sense, because Brandon Brown had a sponsor ready to go for next year, even though it was absolutely controversial. I do feel bad for Brandon Brown that he does not really have a sponsor, because the question is now, if this sponsor doesn't get approved, what happens to other sponsors? Do other sponsors like Larry's Lemonade and the other companies that were planning to sponsor him, Do they come back and sponsor him in 2022? Maybe does Marcus Simonis come and help him out with Camping World? That's one thing that can happen. Or does NASCAR maybe approve it and let it go? And I hope maybe that'll be the case. But I also, at the same time, do think I understand where NASCAR is coming from in a sense because of the nature of the LGB. I completely understand if NASCAR decides to not approve it. I completely understand. I think really, in my opinion, we're really in a no-win situation right now. And it really, apparently, this thing had been in work for like a month or so, which I find really weird and interesting. But really, Brandon Brown is really in a no-win situation. But, I mean, if he's trying to embrace it in more of a positive light and not a negative light, I really don't buy it. But one thing that this is going to cause, if this does not get approved in a couple weeks, this is going to cause a lot of people to turn on NASCAR and a lot of people to be really, really upset. Again, my opinion is I'm not a big fan of LGB. I'm not a fan of Let's Go Brandon. But you're going to have a lot of people that are really going to turn on. So in my opinion, I believe it should just be approved. I hope NASCAR does go ahead and approve it. I understand if it doesn't get approved, but I would like seeing NASCAR approve it because they've approved other kind of sponsorships in the past that have been really, really controversial in the past. So maybe they'll approve it. Who knows at this point, but it's really, really crazy that this may not end up getting approved because of the situation. Again, I understand the nature of Let's Go Brandon. I'm not a fan of the Let's Go Brandon moniker. I've not been a fan of it really since the beginning because the drivers occurred at the point have been negatively affected, and a lot of people don't really like it. But at the same time, it is what it is. And if NASCAR decides, hey, let's not go ahead and approve it. It is what it is. And it is NASCAR decision what they want to do. I just find it a little frustrating. And there is an explanation. Again, they really haven't really 100% given an explanation. Again, I think the explanation is apparently had not been approved from the process yet. So like I said, it has to probably go through that processors and basically an appeal company, basically like a boards and stuff probably. I don't know how it works when it comes to approval and stuff. I think there's a board when it comes to those paint scheme stuff that you have to go through. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in regards to the situation, but it's definitely nuts and really, really crazy. And we talked about this a few hours ago that it looked like he was safe and was going to have a sponsorship for next year. And now, a few hours later, we're kind of in the weeds being like, okay, he doesn't have a sponsorship. What is going on? This story is absolutely turned nuts and absolutely crazy. And we're probably honestly going to be following this story for multiple weeks. I expect a lot of people to cover this story because this absolutely has blown up. I expect a lot of NASCAR journalists, a lot of NASCAR people who do NASCAR news to talk about this like myself. And I also expect a lot of conservative individuals to cover this story as well. And I think it's going to be I think the story is going to blow up very, very massively, very, very quickly because you have had Team Z cover the story and you've had a lot of people cover the story. I would expect here coming down the road in the next couple days after the first of the year, I expect the story to absolutely be nuts. So it is what it is in this situation, and we'll be following the story closer in the next couple months. And if we do hear some updates in regard to the situation, we'll come here on this channel and talk about it here. So anyway, that is here today's NASCAR special report. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. List description below for that, and comment your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about the situation in regards to the sponsorship not being approved at this time? Do you think that NASCAR should approve the sponsorship, or do you think NASCAR is making the right decision in regards to that? I'm kind of neutral in this situation, and I would like to be approved, but let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you're new, like I said, new to the channel, like and subscribe to the channel. We've been picking up a lot of attraction lately, and also, again, before I close this out, I want to thank you guys for a pretty incredible 2021. I've got one more video that will be dropping here tomorrow on the channel. You will see that, so if you're new to the channel, come and check it out. But anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.